purpose of this video is to assist students with their first assignment in the Web 110 course. Let's get started. Let's click the Assignments button and check it out. There's some information here that says that when you complete your assignments, you can use Notepad or Notepad++. I just simply have Notepad on my computer, so I'm going to follow the directions given here on how to save my file name as a .html. Even though it says .txt at the bottom, that's okay. Also, it's going to say to view your code, you can do Control and the letter U, and that'll allow you to view your HTML. So I'm going to click into Module 1. In Module 1, I see here that my textbook assignment 1 is going to be using the book and completing steps 1 through 14 on pages 38 and 39. There's a screen clipping here on what the assignment should look like for your code. Before I attempt to complete this, I would want to read through Chapter 1. As I'm reading through Chapter 1 in the book, it's going to tell me, if I double check myself, on page 22, it gives me the HTML elements and attributes. If you haven't read your chapter yet, it will be difficult to complete your assignment. So make sure you read your chapter and pay special attention to pages 22 and 23, which goes over the different elements and attributes to HTML. It'll also hit up the HTML5. So make sure you read your book before you start this assignment. Before we start to work on our assignment, let's just double check our set of instructions that's listed in Blackboard. I also want to double check my set of instructions in the book. In Blackboard, it's going to give me a set of instructions right here. Use the text editor of your choice, right? Name your new HTML file. It gives me an example of what to name my file with. It's going to give me a set of page numbers for the assignment, and then it asks me to upload my assignment. So now I'm going to look at the set of directions that's in my book. And in my book, it says open your text editor and enter all the required HTML elements to create the basic web page. Okay, so I'm going to go to my search, and I'm going to use Notepad, so I'll type in N-O-T for Notepad, and Notepad will come up. And so I will use Notepad as my text editor. You don't have to pay for anything. There's nothing extra. Notepad comes on every computer, so you'll be fine with that. Okay, I'd like to keep this a little bit smaller. Let's see if we can just pull this out some. All right, as I work right here, I want to make sure that I'm covering all the sets of directions that I need to. And it's going to tell me that I need to type in here. Now, remember that every time we start any of the elements or attributes, you've got to finish them out. So I'm going to start this off with my exclamation point, T-Y-P-E, space HTML. That's going to start my HTML. All right. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll copy the HTML, or I'll use it from a previous document so I don't have to keep typing it. I've got to type in my language here. Okay. And then after that, oh, I need my heading. Okay, so the set of directions is going to ask me to add in all of my required elements for the basic web page, and it tells you what to place in there as you go through those steps. Then it's going to ask me to add my title in here, so I'm going to hit Tab, and I'll put in here T-I-T-L-E, and then my title is CH1 space apply your knowledge. Okay, and that is my title. Now, what I'm going to do, so I don't have to keep typing this stuff, I'm going to copy this, paste it here, but when I end it, I always have to tell it, and this is what's always going to tell it to end it. All right, so this was my start for my title, and that's going to be the ending for my title. Okay, and then we'll keep continuing on. What I've done before is I have failed to leave off like an ending quotation mark, and that's just going to mess up everything. So I actually have this whole assignment already complete, and we'll take a look at it here. Okay, so this is my completed text here, and this is all you really have to have for this assignment. But some of the things that you want to remember is if I were to leave off a set of quotations or anything, you know, it will not run properly for you. So let me make sure that you understand how to save this. So this is my completed, and I'll put this in here. And when I'm done with this, I'll come up here and I'll do save as. And the set of directions ask you to save it as your last name, first initial, underscore assignment 1, right? Then it says if you're using your notepad to do a .html, it's going to say txt down here, but don't you worry about that. Now, I already have one named this, and I just realized that, so I'm going to name it Quizmundo TT. I'm going to give myself 2 middle initials, okay? All right, let me save this. Now, I'd like to go and open it. Let's see, where did I save that anyway? Save as. It's saved in my downloads. Okay, that's fine, as long as I know where it's located. So let me pull up my downloads folder. And this is the one that I just saved. If I double click on this, it should release the HTML. And this is what your final assignment should look like. All right, when you're done. Now, to view your code, do Control-U. Control-U to view your code. Now, let's say that while I was in this assignment here, let me go back to my notepad. Okay, in my notepad, I'd want to keep this open because if I made an error and it doesn't process, I need to come back and look at it. As a matter of fact, when I was preparing some of this stuff, I left out a quotation mark here. And then I did a file and I saved it as. Yeah, we'll replace this. Okay, and now let's come in here and take a look at it. And this is what it looks like. It's blank. So just by simply leaving off quotation marks, it will make your assignment become incomplete. So make sure you double check everything. So in this example here, you can preview it against the video. You could preview it against the example that's posted in your class and double check yourself. If you view your HTML and it comes out blank, that means double check your quotation marks, double check all of your attributes with your basic HTML, and make sure that you've got everything in there. Okay, now that you have your file complete, it's time to turn it in. Let's make sure you know how to turn your assignment in. This is actually a link right here. So you're going to click Textbook Assignment 1. It's going to give you a due date, points possible, and you'll scroll down. You'll click to Browse Local Files. Find your local files. Mine was saved in the downloads. Select your HTML file. If you have an additional comment, you can post it in the comments. If not, no biggie, you just go ahead and click Submit. To double check and make sure that your assignment has been submitted, you can look in your My Grades. Here's a quick preview. Your preview will not always appear. It depends on what you're submitting. You can go to your My Grades and look. You should have a yellow exclamation point. If you have a yellow exclamation point, it means you've turned in your file. To see what you've turned in, you can click it and it will give you a preview depending on what you've turned in. At some point in this class, about Module 3, everything will need to be turned in a zip file, so you won't be able to preview it anymore. But until we get to that, you can still preview your files. Good luck!